I remember one time I was running a warehouse, and whenever there was no work, the expectation was you clean the work area. So what happened was there was no work coming into the warehouse, into this work area. So people were cleaning tables for like days. What we're trying to say is, if you don't set clear expectations of what you want from your people, you're going to end up pretty much getting your people doing tasks that they feel like you want them to do to basically just stay busy, right? If you don't set those clear goals, you're going to have people running around doing what they think you want them to do.
Hey everybody, I'll start today.
Yeah, you start.
It's Sarah. How are you guys doing?
How are you guys? Just getting set up today. And yeah, so we're back. Fumbling over here. But today, we want to talk about the importance of setting clear expectations of the people that you work with or that report to you or whatever you want to call it, right? So we want to talk about why it's important to set those goals and, basically give people direction. Because a lot of times, people are going to do what they think is the best thing to do sometimes. So I'm going to ask you a question, right? We haven't even talked about this, but I'm going to ask you a question. So you show up to the daycare, you pull up in the car unannounced, and you walk in. What happens?
Normally if they know I'm coming, everything looks amazing and they're on top of everything. If I'm walking in, they're scrambling or, all of a sudden things that I was asking to get done are getting done.
Yeah.
But
right?
I still love you guys. It's okay.
Yeah. So
I know how it is working with kids. So.
But what I mean is like, I remember not being the boss, and I remember being, I've always run an area or two, right? And I remember, and there's two things I want to talk about. Actually, I'm gonna start with this. On one day this weekend, Saturday or Sunday, it's football season. All right, it's about to be football season. And Gage was like, "Yo, man, I want these cleats."
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "All right, I'm gonna buy them right now. Like, I'm just gonna buy them because it's football season. There's no time to wait." And usually I'm like, "Man, we'll do that next week, right?" But I'm like, no, all right, it's football season. Buy the cleats. Boom. I told him, I'm gonna go pick them up right now, and I did. I got in the car, I drove to the store, and I walked in. So I go inside, right, and I go to the back. First thing, I come in and the guard greets me. "Hey, how are you?" And this guy, "Hey, what do you need? What are you doing today?" Like, "Hey, how can I help you?" I'm like, "I'm just gonna get shoes, man." Like, and then that's part of the thing anyway. And think about it: when you walk into the store, like a Best Buy or Dick's, whatever, they're greeting you to let you know, number one, I see you coming in the door.
Yeah, we do that too.
Right, but it's not just greeting them to say, you're greeting them, but you're also acknowledging them. You're letting them know that I got my eye on you.
Yep.
It's like Blockbuster. I used to work there. As soon as they come in, "Hello, welcome to Blockbuster." Like, I see you, right? So, but everybody was just they were talking to me. I was like, all right, cool. So I walked to the back of the store and I'm like, "I need these cleats right here in a size 12. Dude wears a size 12. And they were like, "We don't have those." I was like, "Yeah, you do." It says you have two. Well, we usually don't carry this brand. I said, "Man, can you go look?" So I'm sitting there talking, and then the girl goes back to look, and then the dude that I'm talking to, we're just having a conversation. And he's looking at the cleats. So, and I told you the story, right? So, because it was perfect. So, when I'm talking to the guy in the back, there was a guy walked by, shorter guy, goes to the gym, had his sleeves rolled up, shirt tucked in, his polo, whatever. He's walking all fast, and there's like three dudes behind him. I said, "Hey, man, is that the store manager?" He said, "Yeah." "How'd you know?" I said, "Because he looked over at him and said, 'Hey, man, what you working on?' And you told him, he said, 'Well, I'm working on these projects. I'm facing this product, this and that. If you need anything, let me know.'" And he walks away, right? And there's like three little dudes behind him, right? So what he was doing was he was basically setting the tone in that joint. Everybody was doing their P's and Q's because the boss was there. And I was like, "Oh, it's the store manager," because he's walking around, talking to all the people. "What do you need?" And he go gets the shirt like he's doing something. Like, But he basically was from what I saw, that dude was good.
Right.
Right?
You can always tell who the manager is.
You can always tell who the manager is.
I can anyway.
I can walk in any place and tell you who the manager is.
You definitely can. You're really good at that. You're really good at reading the room and being able to figure out who's who in any situation.
Well, not any time, but I mean, in this kind of situations, I can.
No, you definitely can.
So what happens is when you don't have, so the expectation you set is what? What are your expectations? When you walk into the daycare, what are your expectations?
Right. I don't want it to smell like poop.
No, you don't want poop smell.
So trash has to be taken out. Everything has to be clean. It can't look like a hurricane went through or a tornado went through, because even though working with kids, it really is, cleaning up is 90% of your day. But like it to be clean, like everything to be, running smoothly.
Organized, right?
Yeah, organized.
So what used to happen is when I would walk in the room, the same thing. So when she walks in the room, it's either if
I'm
it's
looking
not
for
clean,
these things. So
if it's not clean,
right.
They're gonna start. Everybody starts running. So then I'm like,
Well, it depends on which building. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, right. But what I'm saying is like I remember being a supervisor, and then like the tour would come. They had the entourage. It'd be an entourage of like when the VP comes, and then everybody's moving around all fast and like just doing stuff. I'm like, man. So then I got a problem. Like so I used to do that all the time. So when people don't know what they're supposed to do, like, so that's your expectation.
Right.
But it's usually when you walk in, so I'd be a manager somewhere and I'd walk in, and the next thing you know, this dude starts walking around and just picking stuff up and like wiping the table down and this and that. And I'm like, you gonna do that? Cause I walked in the door like, yo, you weren't doing that before. Like now I walk in, now you want to do this, right? So I used to call that, manufacturing busy. What I mean is like you're just making up stuff, just acting busy to look busy, and it'll be like, man, what are you doing? So I'll be like, hey man, whenever they start doing that, so what I would do is, I used to walk around the warehouse, right, really fast to see who could keep up, and then on an interview, that's how I first got interviewed there. It was like if I could keep up with the manager, then you were hired, and I'd walk around and I'd pick up little pieces of trash, right. Because my thing is like, if you keep the floor nice and clean, the warehouse stay clean. So go around and just pick up trash. And then people will go around and pick up trash because I pick up trash. So if you keep the work area neat, so basically you lead by example. Right?
Yes, leading by example. I'm big on that.
Lead by example. But at the same time, if you don't give people a clear expectation of what they're supposed to do, they're going to manufacture what they think they're supposed to be doing.
And that's just a total waste of time.
Total waste of time. And it looks stupid. You walk in and you see like people just jumping through all these hoops. And like, what are you doing? So I remember, I'll talk about that. I remember one time I was running a warehouse, and whenever there was no work, the expectation was you clean the work area. You guys are going to know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I feel like that's for any business, though. Don't you think so? That's great.
You clean, right? They call, we're going 5S. We're going to 5S. We're going to 5S the building. Like, you're not going to 5S the building. You're going to just clean the spot. So what happened was there was no work coming into the warehouse, into this work area, because we weren't managing the building efficiently to keep all work areas staffed, full of work. So people were cleaning tables for like days. And I'd walk around my boss, and then there was just people like sweeping the same spot because I was walking around like, hey man, the floor's not even dirty. What are you doing? So I walked into this culture of that, and my boss was like, man, why? So basically the thing was they just did what they thought they were supposed to do. So my job was to make sure there was work into the work area. And that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But going back to manufacturing busy and being able to tell who the management person is or who's in charge, I can tell you right now, when we go into a fast food restaurant, or it's even hard to say that sometimes because sometimes they don't even care anymore. But when I go into a place and it's on fire, when I say it's on fire, it's not running smoothly.
Right.
What do I usually, like, where's the manager?
You always ask for the manager.
I always ask for him because, because I know where he is or she. You know where they usually are? where there's not the problem. They're going to be somewhere else. So for me, I remember that happened to me. My boss was like, and then we're going to walk the building. So you got to remember when UPS is building like 500,000 square feet, 400,000 square feet, something like that. So the year is the year is 2005, right? So I'm like 27, here again, 27 years old. I got like 600 employees, 700 employees, and like 60 manager people, and I'm in charge. Crazy. Like, I don't know what in the world made the thing. So my boss, man, he was really, a lot of this stuff I talk about is because I learned from really good management people. And I learned to just take what they said, because even though it was in a warehouse setting, a lot of it translates into a lot of stuff.
It does.
So then the warehouse was backed up, area over here, and he was like, well, where's the supervisor of the area? And then I'd go roll my sleeves up. He'd be like, no. We're going to go find the supervisor. And he'd be like, let's go. I'm like, okay. So then I took on that same thing. So whenever my warehouses would get messed up, I would grab, because I learned this from my guy, I would grab the manager person responsible of the work area and it's like, yo, man, where's your supervisor? Where's the guy who runs this? And he'd be like, oh, he must be in this truck, this and that. And I'd be like, come on, let's go over here. And then we look, and it'd be like the spotless part of the building, and he'd be down there with a broom. And I'm like, what are you doing over here? Well, man, if I leave here, it's going to get messed up. I'm like, no, man, the problem's over there. You need to go run that. Well, if I leave, I say, you know what? This is what we're going to do. I'm going to run this work area. You get over there and you go run that. And I'd throw them in the fire. Right? Because what I was trying to do was I was trying to put them in the situation to manage their way out of it. Right? So, I mean, what do you think about, so what do you do in a situation like that? So we talked about like where you stand sometimes, but what are some of the things that you do to try to, put people, let them know what you're trying to do?
Right. I mean, I really try to just kind of, I call it going back to basics. You know what I mean? And we just have like these certain items that have to be done that they need to be checking for and that they need to be doing whenever it's slow. I mean, obviously, when depending on what kind of situation we have going on inside the environment of the daycare, they may not be able to do all those things at one time, but we just try to check off as many as possible. So, I mean, with making up busy, basically trying to look busy, act busy, I really try to limit that. I'd rather, them just go off that checklist.
Right. Do meaningful. What we're saying is do meaningful activities. Don't do, if you're doing what you think that I want you to do, that means that I haven't done a great job of letting you know what you need to be doing. Right.
I remember when you would, when you were broker and you were talking about how there were just all these meetings all day long, and you just felt like it was just busy meetings. Like it really wasn't it wasn't leading with direction. It wasn't going anywhere. It wasn't productive at all.
Yeah.
And just trying to.
Yeah, because what people like to do, and going back to the boardroom setting, and she just reminded me of that, is, we need to have a meeting about the meeting we're going to have.
Right, a 15, 20-minute meeting about the meeting.
We need to have a meeting about the meeting. Man, don't call me about, that's an email. You know what I'm saying? Send me a text.
Right.
Like, you want to have a meeting to talk about the meeting, then that's just manufacturing, just busy work. That's just busy work. Is it productive or is it busy? Like I hear all the time, like, how you been, man? You busy? Yeah, I'm busy. Are you productive?
They are totally different things.
Totally different things.
Yes,
we
I
can
agree.
be busy all day. And matter of fact, that's just like this clock right here. I keep this clock. This clock.
That's not,
because it keeps me make sure that I'm productive. Am I productive with my time? So am I giving clear expectations to the people that work on my team or people that whatever to make productive decisions? Don't be busy, right? Because if you're staying busy, then you don't have nothing to do. That means probably somebody needs to go home.
Right. That means the culture is bad. That means the goals are bad.
Yeah. So like goals, right? So we're talking about that. Your goals have to. I got this book, like the degrees of execution or whatever it is. 4 disciplines of execution. I think is what it is. And, it's like having clear goals and it's making sure and there's another one too, right? I got another book right here. I'm going to call out my man. right here. I'm gonna call my man Joshua Metcalf, right? And he talks about in his books that, you know, you got to climb. If you're climbing a building, you got to make sure you're climbing the right building. You hate to get to the top of the building, it's the wrong one, right?
Yep.
So your goals have to be clear, and they have to cascade. Oh man, I forgot all about that word. Your goals need to cascade down to drive results. Now I'm getting back into this corporate stuff. And what happens is like, so your goal of, we want to increase revenue by this, there needs to be certain tasks that align to said goals, right? And then the same thing is, you have to make sure that the goals drive good behavior. And an example of that is, I'll just say it. We used to have a culture to say, management people, safety first. So we had a cookout, right? We would have a cookout if nobody got hurt for like, what was it, 10,000 safe work days, or we used to call them. And what they do is they take all the hours of all the people, and they add it up and divide it by 24, and then that's how many safe work days. So like one safe work day would be like, so one day with no one getting hurt was like 400 safe work days or something like that. Well, we used to say, you know what would be a great idea? If nobody got hurt in 2 months, we should have a cookout. Give the people pizza, and that's another thing. People don't get mad about that. People are like, don't give me pizza, give me a raise, right? Well, hey, we used to be pizza. We used to buy some pizza in that joint. Yeah. So we buy pizza and all this kind of stuff. So we'd have these safe workday cookouts where we would say, okay, for every time this people didn't get hurt for X amount of days, we're gonna have a cookout. Well, guess what happened? Somebody would drop a anvil on their foot or something crazy, and it got messed up, and we'd be like, oh man, we got to take him to the doctor. And be like, oh, well, let me see that foot before we go to this doctor. Man, let me put some ice on that thing. And they're like, man, my foot's messed up. I'm like, are you sure? Why don't you go home? You know what? We're going to fill out this thing. Well, why don't you go home? Let's just make sure. Let's just see how it feels tomorrow. Right? So the goal of no injuries. So the goal was no injuries. So then what happens is people tend to try to hit the goal. So when people try to hit the goal, the other things that may be you may make a decision you might not want to make because you're trying to hit said goal. Human beings are goal driven. So when you set your goals, you got to make sure that the goals actually drive behavior that you want.
Right. So you're not going to see the results that you're looking for if all you're doing is manufacturing busy.
You're not going to see
without
the results.
Clear direction, the right goals.
Yeah. So you're not going to see the goals that you want. You're not going to get the direction for the people that you want, because you know what we're trying to say is, if you don't set clear expectations of what you want from your people, you're going to end up pretty much getting your people doing tasks that they feel like you want them to do, to basically just stay busy, right? Because they don't know what productive tasks are going to be done.
Right.
So, like I said, if you don't do that, if you don't set those clear goals, you're gonna have people running around doing what they think you want them to do. Right?
Right. So it's not necessarily that they just not doing what you want them to do. They just don't know what you want them to do.
Exactly. So that's where you define what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
All right.
Makes sense to me.
Makes sense to me too. Got anything you want to add?
No, that's it.
All right, cool. Well, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you guys.
Y'all have a good one.
Bye.